Let me know when you got it started.
All right, we are live.
All right, it is Tuesday. It is December 8th. It is 5:02. We've got the Board of Adjustment meeting. We'll do a roll call to order. Chris Braden, present.
Keith Martinson, present.
Brad O'Donnell, present.
Jim Beneke, present.
Bob Turner here.
All right, perfect. Thank you, guys. So we need to move to, do we have any public comments?
We do not have anyone on the line at the moment.
All right, so it looks like we need to move to, sorry guys, I got a eye infection too, and my glasses aren't awesome, so I'm trying to read what's going on. I'm getting too old. Let's go. We got to get to the main agenda item here. Sorry, 41 years old. I can't see. Let's see.
Be the approval of minutes.
Yeah, I'm trying to see that. Yeah, there we go. All right. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes from, looks like September 22nd, 2020?
They need to do the preamble over again. Whoever did the minutes picked up the wrong first paragraph when they did a cut and paste.
Okay, so we need to make an adjustment to that. Can we do that, before the next meeting and then approve those minutes at that time?
Sure, and we can just approve those with the changes if that's just an administrative thing. Sorry, I'm running through all the minutes. We have so many. So yeah, if y'all want to approve them with those changes, I'm happy to make those changes before they get signed.
Keith, do you have specifically what changes need to be made?
Well, the first paragraph just needs to be totally replaced. And the second paragraph talks about some phone numbers and meeting IDs, which I have no idea about. So those are the first two things that have to be looked at.
Ashley, are you privy to those?
I'm looking at
pulling them up right now. Yes, let me check it out.
I don't have, I obviously wasn't at that last meeting. So Keith, thanks for the check on that and see what we got.
Yeah, that just needs to be changed over to Board of Adjustment and the date of the meeting. The other information is all the same. That's all we just we pull out and plug, instead of City Council, it will say Board of Adjustment. And then the correct meeting date. And that should be all that needs changing.
With that, I'd move the minutes be approved.
Perfect. All those in favor of approving the minutes September 22nd, 2020 with the amendments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion to approve those minutes is approved. Let's move on to the regular agenda. Item 3, discussion and possible action on a request for a variance from section 107-76D of the city's Code of Ordinances to allow for an accessory structure to occupy a section of the rear yard setback at 106 Christie Drive. And we do not have anything we don't have anybody looking to speak on this outside, do we? No one's in queue.
We do not have any guests on the line, no.
Carrie, do you have something to say about this on this one?
Yeah, I'll be happy to go through this with you all. I've spoken with her extensively about this. Like I said, I spoke with her yesterday, so something must have unexpected must have come up. But let me just kind of go through this with you. I'm gonna shift screens here so I can see all my attachments. So what the applicant is proposing is a small shed. It's less than 250 square feet. And the reason that they were requesting it, they submitted a letter, but because of the pandemic and, you know, having to work, her husband having to work in Mexico City some. They have been trying to isolate and shelter in place, and they need a kind of a quarantine / home office space. And the lot, if you will look at the attachment, the survey attachment, you'll notice that this is a unusual lot. It's a diamond shaped lot. It backs up to the city of Austin, both sides of the rear of the lot. And it is non-conforming in that the frontage, their frontage on Christie Cove is less than the required amount in the residential zoning code. So there's a lot of unusual considerations here. If they did comply with a 20-foot rear setback, they would essentially have a 20-foot rear setback on two sides of the property. So there wouldn't be any additional buildable area to speak of. So that is the reason that this is coming before you all. They want to keep the structure out of the PUE, but in what would be the a 20-foot setback. Do you have any questions for me?
We don't see we see I was looking at this earlier in the week, and at least the one I'm looking at page 8, we see the 10-foot PUE.
Mm-hmm.
But where's the I don't see the 20.
Page 10 has a little schematic with supposedly where the shed's going to be.
Right, but then do we see how much of it would go into the, rotate that. We see how much.
Of it.
So the survey plat only shows the PUE. It does not show the 20-foot rear setbacks. And the subdivision plat did not show them, but they would have to comply with the 20-foot setback zoning code. So it is not laid out in their subdivision plat, but they would still have to meet the requirement.
And without the homeowner being here and you having had conversations with them extensively, I imagine, is there some reason why within the other aspects of the lot back there that they cannot or don't want to put the structure where it would be in compliance?
There just isn't any room to put it in the 20-foot area. If you look at that survey and essentially double the size of that 10-foot PUE, you can see you can imagine there's just not any buildable area there.
Legally, does the applicant have to be here in order for us to move on with this?
No, they don't have to be here, but you can, so you can basically require them to be here, but they're not required to be here absent you're causing them to be here.
It feels like, Brad, that I would like to, yeah, I mean, maybe I'm picking up what you're putting down here, but it feels like I'd like to hear from the applicant a little bit more about some of the circumstances that surround this, right?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this, wouldn't be a hard thing to grant, but without the applicant being here, it just seems kind of funny. I mean, how many folks are here? There's 10 of us here, 8 of us.
Let me see if I can get her on the phone. real quick and see if she's having some technical difficulty or something. Would that be acceptable to you all?
Absolutely.
Okay, bear with me just a moment.
She did put a pretty thorough note,
I
although
think she just got on.
Yeah, there we go.
She,
There you go.
Anne, are you here? Can you hear us?
I am here. I'm so
Yeah, she's-
sorry. I completely got distracted by my children and then realized,
I don't know how that happens.
Been
Yeah.
there, done that.
sorry, all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, it's
That might be part of the letter.
yeah,
It's justification. All right.
Exactly.
Anne, let me just catch you up for a second. I
Okay.
just went through and kind of explained the conversation that we had and how, you know, you're kind of limited by that 20-foot setback that would go essentially along two sides of your property. Is there
Right.
anything that you want to add about the structure or why, you know, why it's important for y'all to have it or anything else?
Yeah, well, I'll just say this. So we thought for a while that we kind of need a separate place for like an office, just the way sound travels in the interior of our house. And there are 5 of us, and just the amount of space when my husband's working from home, which he does quite often, but now he does exclusively, it's pretty tricky. Now we're all home with 3 kids homeschooling, and him working from home and me working from home. And so it's a lot. So we actually, a couple of years ago, had designed plans to build over our garage, kind of create this space, which were approved. And then when it came down to like building them, the cost was just really high. So we kind of went back and said, all right, we'll make do. It's just usually him home and me and the kids are at school, but that's not the case right now. And probably won't be the case going forward. He probably won't be traveling so much. So yeah, so we were looking for just creating a little bit of a place where the noise can be contained and separated. So the thing we're still hoping to build, and I assume you guys all have the plans, is not very big. It's 140 square feet. It's just a small studio shed in the back. It does not, because the way our lot is designed like a diamond, that is our hardship. We back up to the city of Austin, and we back up to a property that is all, it basically goes up a hill and it's all trees. I don't think they'll ever develop that. Then to one side, we have the Garwoods, who I know are already, they will be the ones who could probably most see the structure, but it backs up to their side yard where they just let the dog out and to their garage. So he already called me and said he has no problems with it. My other neighbors, the Trotters, he was a little concerned. He came over and walked around. I don't even think he'll be able to see it. So he said he was fine with it. And our other neighbors, the Van Winkles, are also totally fine with it. So that is our hope. Yeah, to just be able to have this office because of so I think I said this in the letter. My husband works in Mexico City. That's where his office is. So having, he obviously can't travel there right now, which is why he's at home. But we have some health issues, and making travel, I just don't know when that's going to feel, or when, if ever, it's going to open up like that again. So he may be more homebound, work-wise. Does anybody have any questions or concerns they want to ask me?
I have a quick
Haven't addressed?
question.
Yeah.
So why that location? Why not to the side of the pool, which might just get you out of the 20-foot setback?
I think because that is more, that's not like we use the side yard. My kids do that side of the pool. It's the one space in our yard where there's like space to kick a ball around or play, or we have like a swing, and that space back there is not really used. So, and it kind of just, it's kind of hid there under the trees. Aesthetically, I think it's the most pleasing space to put it for the whole overall aesthetic of like the house and the construction and just the general flow of things. I think it would look like a crammed little shed over to the side as opposed to back there. That's why we kind of picked it. Yeah.
And I'm just curious, look at the plot plan, there's a thing called a concrete wall that goes on the side of your house to the backyard. What is that?
I think that's a retaining wall maybe or something. I'm not exactly sure. So we have on the back of our house on the far side, there is a retaining wall because there's a drain. I'm assuming it's a drainage easement that runs between our house and the Joneses and the Trotters. And I think that concrete wall kind of delineates our property line. There's another one that comes in across our yard, which the builder has come and looked at, and he said it won't be a problem because it's going to be a pier and beam construction kind of over that. So it will not be compromising that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Brad,
Yeah.
you have anything?
No, the only issue I see is kind of what Bob was saying before, that there are maybe some other places that it could be put in, but with the neighbors not having an issue and the city of Austin being on that side, I kind of, hey, whatever. So, but so I see it both ways, kind of how most things are.
Jim, do you have any questions?
No, not really. I think it looks fine.
Okay, I'm satisfied with what you presented, Ann, on my end.
Thank you.
Do we need to, Amber, on the agenda, do we need to is this considered the kind of the open part? We need to close this part because I kind of went with Ann kind of getting in late. I didn't know if we did this in the right order of operation.
Sure. Yeah, you need to close the public hearing if you have it and note the time.
Yeah. Can we do that? I.e., we have nobody else that's going to speak on this. Okay.
Yeah.
So Ann, any other comments here?
Nope. Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you for your time.
Let's yeah, you're welcome. Let's close the public portion of that. It's 5:20, and then obviously move to a discussion amongst us. But I think we've somewhat done that. Is there anything in amongst our board that we need to talk about before we move on this?
Amber, I got a question. This 10-foot setback, has that been a rule for quite a while, or a 20-foot setback in the backyard for quite a while with the city? Because I'm walked the city and I see sheds in backyards all the time that are up against the borders.
It has been, I think, since 1987.
These are done after 87, I think. Sometime, I don't know, but there's some nice sheds around, and if you read the ordinance, it says a shed includes a tool shed, not some nice bathroom type house. So I mean, there's all kinds of people that seem like either ignored it or it's a newer ordinance than I would have thought.
Yeah, I'm sure for the small sheds, those can easily get constructed over the weekend and kind of go unnoticed, especially if they're in the backyard. But we appreciate Ms. Harrington trying to follow the rules and go through the proper process.
Okay, thank you.
Do you guys need me to bounce now so you can discuss or do I?
You can absolutely stay on.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. Anybody else discussion amongst the board? All right. Well, then I would make a motion to approve the variance. Let's see here. Golly. And Amber, do I have to go through all the list again of 7 of reasons why?
Yes.
Say again.
Yes, please.
Thank you.
All right, Amber, can you, I don't have the, all the different criteria.
I have it handy if you don't, Amber.
That'd
I
be great.
don't. Thank you, Sarah.
Okay, do you want me to do it one by one and then you can do it, or just read the 7 and then you can do it?
Go by, read the 7.
Okay,
Please.
so prior to granting a variance in a residential district, the board must find that, 1, a special individual reason makes the strict application of this division impractical. You want me to just continue?
Please.
Number 2, granting the variance will be in harmony with the general purpose and intent of this division and will not be injurious to adjoining properties or the neighborhood or be otherwise detrimental to the public welfare.
Thank you.
Number 3, the granting of the variance will not be detrimental to the public health, safety, or welfare or injurious to the property in the area.
Thank you.
4, there are special circumstances or conditions such as topography, natural obstructions, aesthetic or environmental considerations affecting the land involved such that the strict application of the provisions of this division would deprive the applicant of a reasonable use of his land.
Thank you.
Number 5, the granting of the variance will not have the effect of preventing the orderly development of other land in the area in accordance with the provisions of this division.
Thank you.
Number 6, if applicable, there is sufficient water and wastewater capacity and fire service available to serve the applicant's land as developed under the variance without detriment to the other property within the city.
Thank you.
And number 7, the circumstances or conditions from which relief is sought are not solely of an economic nature.
Based on, coach me up, but based on those, I feel like the applicant meets all those guidelines, especially, and the only one I had a question on was maybe based on the drainage easement and looking at it, but I think it suffices based on how it's being built. I would move on that it satisfies those 7 to pass the variance.
I would second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, motion passes to grant the variance. All right,
Thank you. Yay. All right.
you're welcome, man. All right, we've got, does anybody else have any, we've got adjournment of the meeting next on the agenda. It's 5:25. The variance passed and would like to adjourn the meeting. Anybody make a second on that?
Second.
All right, adjourn the meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah, all right, meeting adjourned. And thank you very much. Have a great
Thanks,
evening.
everybody.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank y'all. Good night.
Thank y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.